Well, hey there, you awesome bipeds, quadrupeds, and even the occasional dinosaurs. It is I, Little Wolf, and welcome to my den. Go ahead, come on in and take a seat by the fire, but please wipe your paws before entering. And the cauldron is bubbling, so now you can have your choice of tea, coffee, or hot chocolate. And this week, I thought we would dive into the 1940 movie The Devil Bat, starring Bela Lugosi. And let's see here. Let's check the oracle. Now, we have Dr. Carruthers feels bitter after being betrayed by his employers, Heath and Morton, when they become rich as a result of the product he despised. He gains revenge by electronically enlarging bats and sending them out to kill his employees' family members by instilling in the bats a hatred for a particular perfume he has discovered, which he gets his victims to apply before going outdoors. John Layton, a reporter, finally figures out Carruthers is the killer, and after putting the perfume on himself, douses it on Carruthers in the hopes it will get him to give himself away. One of the two is attacked as the giant bat makes one of its screaming, swooping power dives. And oh my lord, yes, that is something that cannot be overlooked in this movie, is the sound that this bat makes. It's just so hilarious when you do hear it for the first time. It's kind of jarring. It's like a weird bird swooping down to try and attack. Let's see if I can find a quick little clip of it going on. Just see? Oh my lord, that's just a weird sound to hear coming out of even a giant bat. And we all know that they make that weird kind of squeaking and then their screech for echolocation and things like that. So, yeah, one of those little areas where you just have to check your brain at the door and just let it go. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump really quickly into the cast here. And there's, of course, Bela Lugosi as Dr. Paul Carruthers. And we all know mainly Bela Lugosi from his role of being in Dracula from Universal Studios. And then we also have him playing, and I believe there's the movie Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is supposed to be one of the worst movies ever made, and that's definitely going to be one that I'm going to have to dig up at some point and give it a look-see and see if it really is as bad as most people say. But that is something for another time. Then we have Susan Karen as Mary Heath, and she is the daughter of the Heath family. Then you have David O'Brien as Johnny Layton, who is the reporter. Then we have Guy Usher as Henry Morton, and I believe he is the patriarch of the family. And then we have Yolanda Donlin as Maxine, as the French maid, and as one of the reporters, who is the photographer actually, playfully calls Frenchie because she dresses up in a French maid outfit. And we have Donald Kerr as One Shot McGuire, and he's the photographer of the group. Like I said, he calls her Frenchie, and he also takes the pictures of the giant devil bat, and we'll get more into that in just a moment. Edmund Mortimer as Martin Heath. Then we have Gene O'Donnell as Don Morton. Now here is an interesting name that kind of sticks out just a bit. Alan Baldwin as Tommy Heath. And it's kind of fun to see that even back in the 1940s, we have a Baldwin that's making his appearance on screen. And we all know the different Baldwins that are out there now, so don't really need to get into that. Then we have John Ellis as Roy Heath. Arthur Q. Bryan as Joe McGinty. And we have Hal Price as Chief Wilkinson. And John Davidson as Professor Raines. And as we said in the quick synopsis of the movie, we have Bela Lugosi's character, who is really upset at the company he used to work for using his idea to make themselves rich, and they try making him happy by giving him a check for $5,000, which I'm thinking back in the 1940s is quite a nice chunk of change. And anybody who's good at mathematics and good with money would probably be able to go back and see what the equivalent is then compared to now. And that would definitely be interesting, because I'm guessing that's quite a nice chunk of change. But he isn't happy with that, so he has, like it says, found a certain scent that he has made his bat really despise and hate, and he puts that into a weird thing he calls an aftershave he's developed, and he's gonna try and test it out on members of the two families, just to say, I want to see if you guys like this aftershave, see if it works, see if it's soothing, and if you guys approve it, I would like to develop this and put it up on the market for sale. And each of his victims, he gets to use it, and they slather it onto their neck and onto their chin and onto their cheeks and everything else. And shortly thereafter, Paul Carruthers unleashes his giant bat from inside of an attic inside of his laboratory. And here's a fun thing too with this movie is he has, of course, secret little compartment areas. There's secret doors, secret stairs, ways of getting up into the attic that only he knows how to do, I'm guessing, or unless you're the architect who put the stuff together, they would know too. But shh, we can pay them off and let them go. But as the first murder takes place, it attracts the interest of a certain newspaper group, and here's where Johnny steps in and One Shot, because they are sent to investigate what happened. And being back in the 1940s, weird things like giant bats diving down and killing people, especially somebody as wealthy of a family member as this one, it attracts their eye and they want to figure out what's going on. But of course they don't know it's a giant bat at the time. But soon after their arrival, another family member is attacked by the giant bat, and the two reporters are able to see it and know what's going on. And they tell their boss that they're going to stay there and try and get a picture of the giant bat because their boss doesn't believe them. Because I'm thinking around then, this is kind of a little before the whole Bigfoot craze and other cryptids like that, so they don't believe in giant monsters and creatures of that ilk. So the boss is very, very skeptical of what's going on, and he doesn't want them to stay there. But they say, we're going to get a picture of this bat, and One Shot is talked into going to the local taxidermist to get a giant bat made up for them, and he gets the help of Maxine to be able to take the picture of it. And soon after that, you have a radio report going out from Professor Raines that he knows that it's a fake because he was able to look under a microscope at the photograph of the creature and sees that there's a tag still left on it that says Made in Japan. And so the two reporters wind up getting fired from their job, and they still wind up sticking around to try and get an actual picture of the beast. And Johnny is slowly figuring out that it is Carruthers that is handing out the aftershave to the different people that are dying, because he finds a bottle of it left at the house of one of the people that has passed away. And the cool thing about this movie too is how a lot of the information is spread about, and this is probably one of the first times I can recall seeing it. It might have happened before, but they're using the headlines in the newspaper to kind of tell the narrative of what's going on, with the giant bats swooping down and attacking different members of each family and killing them. But I always thought that was kind of a cool little thing to happen, to have the news headlines and stuff tell you what's going on in the movie, instead of like having a narrator just sit out and tell you, yes folks, a giant bat has swooped down to kill another member of the Heath family. So I just thought that was really fun and interesting. And as I said before, we have Heath, or not Heath, but we have Johnny, who does discover slowly that it is Carruthers handing out the aftershave to the different victims, and he winds up going to Carruthers' laboratory and talking with him, and is going to try and use the aftershave to attract the bat, so he can test his hypothesis that it is the aftershave that is causing the bat to attack everybody. And he talks Paul Carruthers into sitting out in the garden with him outside of one of the family's houses, where 2 or 3 different victims have now been attacked. And Carruthers is very, very skeptical of what's going on, but he winds up also getting doused in the aftershave, and once again the giant bat swoops down, and I'll leave it here for now. But it's definitely a good movie to sit back and relax and to see where the horror movies have been, being back in the 1940s, and you look at where they are now, and to see the different special effects, especially for like the devil bat, and look at how it is there, and to think where we are now with our movies, and with all of the CGI that happens. It's definitely fun to explore where these movies have come from and where they are now. And with that said, I highly recommend you sit down and give this movie a watch. It is fun to see Bela Lugosi as we know him, then especially seeing him from his role in this, and then his role in Dracula, and all the other horror movies he has been a part of. Definitely sit down and give this one a watch with your friends. Grab some popcorn and whatever other snacks you want. And it's only an hour and 7 minutes long, so it won't take up too much of your time. And speaking of time, I think I've used mine up here. I hope you guys do enjoy this movie if you get a chance to check it out. And I hope I was able to give you a nice breather from the rampant idiocracy that's going on in the world today. I love all of you guys so much. So please like and subscribe. And we live on one planet, so at least let's all be civil. So until next time, you awesome bipeds, quadrupeds, and even the occasional dinosaurs, I hope you have a good day, a good night, have a good whatever. I love you all. Ta-ta for now.